When you leave your mark on this world, leave a lasting mark.
Leave a mark that'll stand the test of time. A mark that can't be erased with a single stroke.
When you leave your mark on this world, leave one that'll last forever.
The fundamental purpose, animating the faith of God and His religion, is to safeguard the interests and promote the unity of the human race, and to foster the spirit of love and fellowship amongst men.
Lani kodochi na chimbeni bira so sairi na tene missionary amenge ya tambla kirikiri na chi quartier ichi sango sala ke dape
et tonga na ita so aduti da ala kunda tete non ani petit duti giton so senga pe ala tene ani doiti sa kusala ti Baha'i la ti tene
formation simbi yeso bi manda amule ki nambi faso tene bi iramne ngeso ike dai ki mu aboko na la ifo ala zigna école ndani sosi igaimu courage tene bigona formation na fondation na de ushanga adie.
L'approche que la Fondation Adier a entrepris pour la promotion et la formation des enseignants pour les écoles communautaires est une approche révolutionnaire. Et la Fondation développe la capacité de l'enseignant à devenir un enseignant dans la classe, mais aussi développe la capacité de la communauté à comprendre ce que c'est que l'éducation des enfants. La Fondation Adier travaille, sensibilise et aiguise la conscience de la communauté par rapport à la question de l'éducation. Et une fois que la prise de conscience est effective au sein de la communauté, ils comprennent qu'il leur faut prendre une action, mettre en place une école qui appartient au village.
École là que tu as parlé, la communauté quoi, mais sensibilisation là tu tenais, à la cabane dans le tu tambla et puis après tu solliciter aussi là tu tenais, à la petit un bon espace. Amena parents c'est là que na niveau et le petit et tu là à la petite introduite et là la ligne formation tu aussi fondation pour former tenais la gars aussi na ta école na mboko na amnengeni aussi.
Amolenge akotazo ambakoro tinga iswa tene a aider sewa aider famille donc biyenga tsonga jiti gazi mandat ti éduquer na quartier na milieu sombeda ou na menge sombedu keke ke tsala tala ganjo.
l'école n'est pas la fin de ce que nous voulons faire. L'école pour nous est un cadre qui permet à toute la population d'apprendre. C'est ça ce que nous considérons comme une école communautaire pour nous. Les enfants apprennent au sein de l'école, toute la communauté se réunit au sein de l'école pour consulter et on voit comment l'école influence la culture, comment l'école influence la pensée. Donc l'école est devenue comme un centre de lumière, un centre qui diffuse les connaissances, un centre qui favorise l'émergence de l'unité, un centre qui permet au village de se sentir responsable de sa propre destinée.
Ngane naronde maisia rapota nome ta yoani kiripes nte angate bupwa te angata bun maisia te pota nome ta yoani kiripes pa me bokon te vari anno ni me wote ngaru au poisinga me wo men maisia khaira ke nate e kane pone ka upani kiripes na konta e kamaro.
10 years ago, the government and the people cried out, what are we going to do with our youth? Because we didn't know what to do with the strong negative forces that are quite a disturbance to the community. The youth have a vital role to contribute to the betterment of the world. And that's how the Alternative came into the schools with the Junior Youth Empowerment Program. Alternative Education Institute is a Baha'i-inspired organization, and it's shortened for OME.
Yang Jome program e bukai na ben sagisin ni deran narwaro way kararoi me bukai na ben si naron dereire on kaya nang diki rote kisasa neire yo yang diki rote janwan me awari nai yanang kani go tagare se yanang tatang ina pan na situ wana me o mata
e te bitake ere ke iro yara de ta kairi ri ai patime tanumi kina para animators are kanga imakuri manga iya ina non wo te rik hankane te pai nang kukure ya in the program ayo ba it develop yourself are kanga ke responsible ni meo.
Now after 10 years, it's not just the school and the students and the parents, but now the island council and those who are at the government level.
Roron ta yakanne, e pen yana ta yanne. Apon na ke te pa yari ke rona pa isi te mengongo na. Akaina ka inte karabus. A mengongo ina na yausu. Ngaira kangsira sinamakin na ba sika ko wa ba. Yai pitakin nga yap. Ate inta yai kai. Nano na yari ke ro ya tota. Manna na reire te o me. Ai nga yari rang tangira ki te reire ya te itakira me te o me na program ya na nganga.
Up to 2017, we reached out to 3,256 junior youths. Now you see that people connect the absence of youth going into jail, they're connecting it to the program because they're seeing youths coming out of the junior youth program more responsible for themselves and for their family, and as a whole to the community.
Nous avons appris beaucoup de choses. pendant ce temps-ci. Nous savons que le monde vit dans un état de confusion, dans le désarroi, dans le désespoir, mais nous faisons des efforts pour que un noyau grandissant de personnes qui entrent en contact avec la parole de Baha'u'llah réfléchissent sur comment est-ce que nous pouvons mettre en application ces enseignements de Baha'u'llah afin de répondre à nos problèmes quotidiens.
Cuando un grupo se levanta y empieza a proyectar ciertos cambios, ¿sí?, en su comportamiento, en la manera de relacionarse, en cómo conversan, en cómo sirven a los demás, en cuáles son las aspiraciones y propósitos en su vida, de repente la cultura de ese lugar empieza a transformarse. Y uno ve la influencia de la revelación de Baha'u'llah, la ve materializada allí en esos contextos.
So if we want to think about an irrepressible movement, I guess an example is how the human body grows. How that growth takes place, how different cells in the body learns its own responsibility and then applies it for the continued health of the body. The same way in the community, every individual, every member of the community, every institution has to learn what are those responsibilities and role each one has to play, and contributing to that vision for a healthy body, a healthy community, and advancing civilization. And where we see this happening, there is complete joy in the community. There is complete joy of the people as well.
One of the nature of human being is to be together, to learn together and strive for excellence together. It is possible for a society to take charge of its future. But it starts with 2 or 3 friends to learn about some interesting principle and then explore about the meanings and insights of those principles and keep learning and generating their body of knowledge, make it go to a certain level that will actually permit the change that they would like. There's a lot of principles and concepts that were introduced through the teaching of the faith to the society, and it's been tested. They have not only heard about it, they also put it in practice. They have seen the impact of it, they love it, and now they are really engaged.
As every follower of Baha'u'llah knows well, humanity's ultimate well-being is dependent upon its differences being transcended and its unity firmly established. Every contribution Baha'is make to the life of their society is aimed at fostering unity. Every community-building endeavor is directed towards the same end. For those tired of contention, the communities growing under the shadow of the greatest name offer a potent example of what unity can achieve.
Throughout our history, God has sent to humanity educators, known as manifestations of God. The teachings they provide have enabled mankind to advance spiritually and embrace the arts and sciences. These manifestations have included Abraham, Krishna, Zoroaster, Moses, Buddha, Jesus, and Muhammad. Baha'u'llah, the latest of these messengers, explained that the religions of the world come from the same source and are in essence successive chapters of one religion from God. Baha'is believe the crucial need facing humanity is to find a unifying vision of the future of society and of the nature and purpose of life. Such a vision unfolds in the writings of Baha'u'llah. Baha'is believe in the oneness of God and religion, the oneness of humanity and freedom from prejudice, the inherent nobility of the human being, the progressive revelation of religious truth, the development of spiritual qualities, the integration of worship and service, the fundamental equality of the sexes, the harmony between religion and science, the centrality of justice to all human endeavors, and the importance of education. Baha'is try to define their inner lives in accordance with the teachings of Baha'u'llah. The community to which they belong is one of learning and action. Baha'i communities are free from any sense of superiority or claim to exclusive understanding of truth. Baha'is share a common goal of serving humanity. It is a community that strives to cultivate hope for the future of humanity, to foster purposeful effort, and to celebrate the work of all those in the world who strive to promote unity.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I became a Baha'i in July of this year. There's no quick answer to what brought me here, but I started to reflect back on what led me here, what really led me here. A little background. This is a photo of my parents on their wedding day. I am half Japanese, half Russian. This is still the most epic wedding photo I've ever seen. My mom emigrated here from Japan, and my dad is a first-generation Russian-American. And this is me. I grew up in Los Angeles. I went to an extremely diverse private school where it was a melting pot of every ethnicity that you can think of. But somehow, in one of the biggest and most diverse cities in the world, I was bullied for my ethnicity by members of the Asian community that I grew up with for being mixed race. Some of the names thrown at me were white monkey, Asian wannabe, a bunch of names that I will not share today. But basically, I had that going on during the week, and then on the weekends, I had Japanese school, where I had the same thing, but I would say it was worse because I didn't have other ethnic groups to lean on to be friends with. So I hid in the bathrooms during break, during recess, after school, until my dad came to pick me up. And then fast forward to high school, where suddenly it was exotic and hip and trendy to be mixed, and the same people who were calling me names were now asking me out on dates with no conversation in between. And my current life, where even now I've encountered people who have admitted to struggling in their perception of me because of the parts of me that are Asian. All the while being part of an industry that has told me maybe every other week that I'm nowhere near Asian enough to play Asian. So race. Even though it is so insignificant in one sense, and that it is literally the container that my body is in, it's that my parents grew up somewhere different than your parents or their ancestors did, it can be huge in that it can be how people see us, how they treat us, how they interact with us. So how does this all lead to God? Well, it leads to a journey of looking for a place where I feel like I'm really embraced, loved for me, all of me. Because no matter how much you try to kick these voices out of your head, and you know they're not personal, my self-worth still took hits along the way. I didn't grow up with religion. I didn't grow up with conversations about God. I always prayed. I don't know where I got that from. Maybe I learned that from the movies. But I had this desire to deepen my spirituality that grew as I got older. And eventually, I had this collection of things that I tried on, religions that I tried on, spiritual modalities that had, but they never really fit and they never really stuck. And I had this basket of things that I used at my convenience, kept what I liked, disposed of what didn't work for me, and I wasn't tied to anything. And that's exactly how I liked it. And then I met my first Baha'i. I don't know how to describe meeting this wonderful group of people in Los Angeles, except to say that it was like walking into a room full of vampires, but like the kindest vampires you've ever met. Like this, Robert Pattinson in Twilight, sparkling, shining, shimmering, lighting up forests with their energy. And I got to hear these writings and prayers that are the foundation of this faith. And even though at first I didn't always understand what they were saying, they resonated in this place that only truth does. And I witnessed this community and how they lived and interacted with each other. And what I kept seeing was this willingness to come back to these writings, this devotion to coming back to these principles of the faith. I saw women being honored and celebrated. The most paradigm-shifting part of this was seeing relationships and how, despite commercial success, that it can be so tempting and distracting for some people, putting relationship and God at the front of their lives. I saw people committing to service. I saw people following through with that. I saw discussions about race that were so honest. And most of all, I saw people that were willing to say, I have shame, I struggle, I have pain and darkness that hasn't been looked at, but please hold me accountable. I want to come back to the foundation of these writings. And for me, what I found in those writings that I loved and that felt so comforting to me was this principle that we are perfect exactly the way we are. Noble have I created thee, yet thou hast debased thyself. Rise then unto that for which thou was created. So I've created you perfect. Why would you bring yourself down from that? In a society where sometimes we are judged by the people we love most for our exterior and what they think we can offer them, I found comfort in a faith that said, let's drop what's not working. Here's how. We get back to love. Love me that I may love thee. If thou lovest me not, my love can in no wise reach thee. So God's saying, love me so that I can love you. How can I reach you unless you reach out to me? It's this tunnel of communication that we use where love is the language. And if I don't extend my arm out, I can't receive that love. I put up a block. And ultimately, love is the only thing I have to offer. It's me saying, I trust you. Even when I'm scared, even when I'm hurting, even when I'm not sure, even when I'm not even sure that there is a God, and the newness and shininess of this new commitment can wear off, and this can feel like another obligation I've put on my plate, I come back to my commitment, which is to love. This last writing, and the place that it's from, the Hidden Words, this short collection of writings by Baha'u'llah, the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith, really accompanied me on my journey to becoming a Baha'i. So I want to close with this. All that is in heaven and earth I have ordained for thee, except the human heart, which I have made the habitation of my beauty and glory. Yet thou didst give my home and dwelling to another than me. So everything on heaven and earth has been given to us except this one place, the human heart, which is reserved for God. I have put achievements, people's opinions, sometimes an image of myself, sometimes nothing at all in this one place that is reserved for God. And the thought of me coming home to my own home and not being welcome or replaced or locked out broke my heart. And this self-worth piece that so many of us are trying to lock in, and we wonder why it keeps evading us. And I thought, for me, I can't lock this in until I take care of home. Home being the place where God lives. God being whatever that is to you, divine love, infinite intelligence, energy, all of it. If my home is empty, then it's always going to feel like something is missing, because it is. Nobody's home. And if my home is filled with something or someone else, then it's always going to feel shaky and uncertain, because those things move and they shift. And as they do, I'm going to feel like a puppet whose strings are being pulled. Some days will be good and some days won't. So when I question my worth, I come back to this and I say, well, if God lives here, then isn't that my worth? And that's not questionable. God's value is not up for debate. So this missing piece, this external search can never find. It's as internal as it gets. As I learn to love God, I learn to love myself. And maybe we're home the whole time. Maybe the home isn't empty. Maybe it's not filled with something else. But our perception that it is makes it seem that way. Maybe love is right under our noses, right in front of our face, and we just haven't been able to see it. I invite you, the next time you feel challenged by someone, whether it's because of something that you don't agree with, or maybe it's the color of their skin or something about the way they look is unfamiliar to you, and it makes you feel uncomfortable. I invite you to look inside their home, where God lives. Maybe they can see you. Maybe they can feel you, see them for who they really are. And that journey to self-love, self-worth, and ultimately to God can be that much kinder.
Know the alternative.
Know the alternative.
In just over 160 years, the Baha'i faith has grown from an obscure movement in the Middle East to the second most widespread religion in the world, embracing people from more than 2,000 ethnic, racial, and tribal groups. Its unity challenges prevailing notions about human nature and our common future. Here in America, there are more than 150,000 Baha'is. They share a belief that peace can be established through unity and an appreciation for diversity. Across the country, Baha'is are putting this vision into action at the local level. They are partnering with their neighbors and bringing together people of all ages and backgrounds to create more vibrant, empowered communities. Baha'u'llah proclaimed the unity of religious truth, which has unfolded over time through a succession of divine teachers. He taught that Abraham, Moses, Christ, and Muhammad were all messengers of God. Each brought to light religious and spiritual truths, which propelled the evolution of civilization. Baha'i teachings also count Krishna, Buddha, and Zoroaster among the prophets of God. Baha'u'llah confirmed the oneness of humankind and stressed the need to eliminate prejudice of every kind.